Good morning and welcome to the newspaper review segment right here on TVC Breakfast. My name is Nelson Etta, and as usual, I won't be doing this alone. My wonderful colleagues, Veronica and Ibrahim, will be joining me to do justice to the national dailies. It's good to be here again on the table.
Good morning, Nelson.
Thank you very much. Let's begin quickly with the Nation newspaper. This morning, a lot is happening again in the polity, but let's see something at the top right corner of the Nation this morning. 1.5 million candidates register for UTME exam to hold in April 25. That's a good one. 1.5 million. It means we're growing in numbers. Maybe amongst us we're going to have another Zuriel who will become a global advocate for education.
Certainly.
Natasha sues Akpabio, others for 100.3 billion naira. Kogi senator faces ethics committee. I'm wondering where this money is going to really come out from. But I like to say it's a private matter. It's a personal matter between the House, and so they know how they'll settle this. And attack on APC, Tinubu presidency, Ribadu, or mockery child El Rufai. I was thinking by now, Vero and Ibrahim, that this matter would have been probably laid to rest. I mean, what's the point of flogging over an issue like this?
No, someone who is pained will not get over an issue just like that. Oh. We read yesterday, I think, where a comment was written on one of the papers where the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, said that it was the president and not the Senate that denied him of that position as a minister. So he is still pained, obviously. And then we are seeing that these are part of the drama that we would see heading towards 2027.
Ibrahim, it's almost 2 years down the line. I mean, by now I would have said, well, you know what, that's it, let's move on.
Absolutely. So, well, he also mentioned Ribadu, that he was the one that orchestrated is not featuring in Tinubu's administration. But he said, well, he doesn't want to join issues with him, not having media war with him. He just wants to focus on his job. And he had not even mentioned anywhere that he's running for president in 2031. So it's all about politics and everyone trying to position themselves ahead of that time.
I couldn't agree less. And finally, before we leave the Nation newspaper this morning, Edu here is saying services, petrol, refining sectors propel GDP growth to 3.84%. He says this is the fastest growth rate in 3 years. Way to go as we wait to see the effect of that in our pockets and on our tables at home. Let's make our way now.
No, if you look at it, the GDP is actually growing.
Absolutely. No, so, but while it's growing
growing
fast on mathematics, we need to see it on our table as food.
I mean, that's what
and
the
money in
average
our
man
pocket.
wants to see.
Everything cannot end on your table, you know.
It has
It has to start from somewhere.
It has to.
The Daily Trust is our next newspaper this morning. We see right there, food prices drop ahead of Ramadan. I think some good news for our Muslim brothers and sisters. APC International Caucus meets ahead of INEC as something a little bit that got me a bit worried. Card reader almost set Nigeria ablaze in 2015, quoting former President Jonathan there. Of course, we saw the act he did and how that salvaged this country. So, well, kudos to the man again and again. 13 killed in Yobe, Sokoto auto crashes. Veronica, when I saw this, I had to check this up again around trucks in Sokoto and in Yobe State. In Yobe State, the truck lost control. In Sokoto, the same thing. It was trying to navigate a roundabout and lost control and killed a number of persons. I don't know whether to say we should ban trucks completely off the roads.
Unfortunately, we can't ban them because we need them to convey
goods
and all of it. It's just that sometimes whoever the owners of the trucks are and those driving don't do due diligence with maintenance. And so when you talk about brake failure and some of these challenges that they face on the road, you begin to wonder what really transpired. Is it the state of the road or the truck itself? But as it is, it's looking like it is the truck itself that had an issue. And so these persons were killed. Maybe I saw arrest.
Sometimes it looks like carelessness on the part of the drivers of this truck. Is there some kind of special training for driving that is given to them?
Absolutely, they are trained.
Different from the rest of us.
You drive yourself, so you can't get on the road without you having the requisite credentials for you to get on the road. So there's a special training, and then due diligence, not just the road safety, ensuring that they drive safely on the road, but they also have to do their own due diligence by locking the tank or locking whatever it is that they have at the back of their, of the cabin. So it's very important. And the roads too, they need to really work on them, because the road infrastructure is a whole lot to, to talk about for us to fix.
Thank you very much. Let's make our way right now to the blueprint, which is our next paper. Our reforms wooing foreign investors back to Nigeria. This is according to President Bola Tinubu, says country now Africa's investment destination of choice. I couldn't agree less on that. Flying Eagles land in Abidjan for Côte d'Ivoire's friendlies. Wonderful right there. Alleged defamation, Natasha sues Akpabio. Saw that a bit earlier. And fast-track revenue allocation formula review. Federal government orders RAMFAC. I don't know if this review is to increase or to decrease allocation that goes to states and the various, government agencies who receive money. For states, they should be up to generating their own money also as well, instead of completely, totally relying on the center for free money.
There's a whole lot that the states can do to generate revenue, but then they still have to share this common patrimony. They don't control the mineral resources. It has to be taken to the center, and then the federal government shares according to, because it's a nation, so we need to share it at the end of the day. I'm
just saying the sharing should be considered based on what you're bringing as well.
Absolutely.
That's what it's supposed to be in a federal system of government,
right,
where the federating units contribute to the center, but now that's not the case. And that's why a lot of persons have said it's high time we look at true federalism. We do whatever it's needed to restructure so that states can look inward. All the states in the country have the natural resources they can enhance to build, all of these resources that we are sharing now. But that's why you hear some states complain that we are contributing so much and we are not getting the same measure.
What we're bringing in.
Yes, in the same measure. So we need to look at all of these dynamics and see how we can move forward.
Indeed. Maybe the Nigerian Tribune, which is our next paper, will tell us some of those dynamics this morning. We see something here, CBN frustrating probe into 30 trillion ways and means. This is quoting the Senate panel. Okay. That conversation is an ongoing one thus far. Hopefully it will be laid to rest at some point. I've heard for an appoint Oba Ladipo as new leader. Okay, we're seeing some movement right there. Lagos Assembly Union leadership demands release of 3 detained staff. This is in connection with some of the things that happened a few days ago in the assembly. And Oyo Assembly okays issuance to bond of finance remodeling of Abowo shopping complex. And something a little bit here, court sentences Ekiti teachers to 44 years imprisonment for defiling teenage students. Now, it didn't say teacher, teachers. So it was an investigation that was open, and then quite a number of teachers were found wanting on this line. But Veron Ibrahim, I keep wondering, why would a full-blown adult find a teenage, or young, attractive for such an act? I mean, there's several other persons who were even waiting for it.
It goes to show the state of their minds. It goes to show the state of their mind that there's something wrong. I mean, how does a parent hand you a child to take care of, and then you turn around to defile that child? It's sad. It's a sad commentary for what is coming out of our education system, because parents trust these people, but then you breach the trust by abusing their children. How do parents now trust to bring their children back to schools? Now, these are some of the reasons why parents take their children out of schools, and we're having that huge number because of these kinds of issues. I think they deserve 34 years. It means I think they deserve it.
That's
they
right.
should serve the time.
That phenomenon is called pedophilia, where you find someone that is way younger, underage, attractive, sexually attractive. So it's a school supposed to be for you to impart character and learning. So when you're doing that, to the children, so what, just like you said, what exactly are you imparting in them? And this kind of people, well, 44 years, I feel, to me, is even so small. Maybe the judges...
Both of you are coming hard this morning.
Yes,
no, it's sad.
It's a grievous sin.
Sure,
it's a grievous sin. It should be punished, and everyone has to... We need to hear how loudly the punishment had been, meted out on them, to them.
Indeed. Thank you very much for that. As we make our way to the New Telegraph this morning, why Tinubu will win second term. This is according to Oji Kalu. All right, we'll wait to see that. Federal government reform policies necessary for economic growth, according to Akume right there. And federal government, we upgraded visa on arrival to control inflow of travelers. This is according to Mustafa Odu. And finally, on the New Telegraph, the ailing Pope Francis hold Vatican work meeting in hospital. The Pope is still doing his best to deliver on his duty until he comes out of the hospital, which was we're praying to see happen. But Veronica and Ibrahim, let's make our way quickly to the Punch newspaper this morning. And we're seeing something here, the top nameplate on tax reform. Senate plans review as customs ASU falls provisions. And South-South move governors move against Wike's camp over PDP Congress crisis. The last is still yet to be heard about the in-house wahala in PDP. So we're waiting to hear how that plays. Why INEC vote count can't be accurate, says Jonathan. Oh, wow. Ex-president decries ghost workers, regional influences, 6 electoral reforms. We're still back to these electoral reform matters again. Haven't we reformed enough?
No, we can't.
It's never enough.
Okay.
We can't. We have to continuously, do that, because every year, every election season, there's so many room for us to improve on.
I'm wondering what kind of reform would be able to address these issues that he has pointed out.
My point exactly.
Goes to voters, regional influencers, and all of that. How do we go about that? It's critical.
Yeah, certainly recruitment, when you're recruiting ad hoc ad hoc staff, for instance, you need to know how to bring them on, do your due diligence in bringing them on, enlisting them into the INEC, electoral process and all of that. So it's a whole lot. So it's year in, year out. Every year we talk about reforms. 2023, a fallout of it, we had issues that we need to work on ahead of 2027.
Well, some of those reforms that was taken before is what has given birth to the card reader and a few
all of
other
those.
things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then when you're talking about hiring ad hoc staff and all of that for that period, it's more than the hiring and training them. It's about the personal decision not to be used as a tool at the end of the day
Because
to perpetuate
is one thing,
whatever
values
is going
is another
on.
thing.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Let's make our way now to the Guardian newspaper. Jonathan Jega carpet politicians, judiciary, INEC over flawed elections. That we're still discussing. APC begins 2027 groundwork as Tinubu governors, party leaders meet in internal crisis. And then Tinubu okays 1 trillion financing for states to strengthen PHCs. That's the primary health care centers. The way to go. We saw the report you all took this morning on the First Lady's, advocacy against HIV and AIDS. And so that's another way to also tackle that. But let's make our way quickly to the Nigerian News Direct, which is our next paper this morning. Insecurity hindering NLNG from meeting global LNG demand. This is according to MDs who are lamenting this. Insecurity against pipe vandalization and all of that is affecting that. We've seen this story over and over again, and the minister involved has also been calling for order in that sector. So we're waiting to see how that happens. And then finally, on this paper, federal government signs financing contract for Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway assures of completion before 2027. the Minister of Works himself, an engineer, hopefully would be able to deliver on that deadline. That's right. 2027 is, for me, short for that span of road and the kind of infrastructure that wants to be put in there. We're waiting to see if that would be the case.
Absolutely.
And finally, our final paper this morning, which is, or rather, this Nigeria, illegal mining, why government must crack down on criminals. This is according to Adamawa Governor Fintiri, who is advocating tougher penalties on anyone found guilty. Indeed, it should be. Again, just like oil, this belongs to the federal government, isn't it? Absolutely,
and we know that that's also the root of terrorism, you know, where we experience in part of the north, because a lot of people come from not just within Nigeria, collaboratively with people from outside Nigeria to steal our natural resources, and then they destabilize that region. So they really need to come down hard on them.
Indeed. And let's make our way finally to our last paper this morning, which is the Sporting Life. Ibrahim, I'm hoping that you are a very good Arsenal, or which club side do you belong to?
Unfortunately, I belong to God's any winning team. Team. If it's Arsenal today, I'm Arsenal. If it's Chelsea, I'm Chelsea. I don't know where Veronica belongs.
And Veronica, remember I've told you the other day I was looking for a story about my guy. He's here today.
You're happy now.
I'm happy. Arsenal needs Osimhen desperately.
I think so.
Oh yeah. Based on what is going on right now.
I think so. They need him.
Indeed. But that's what we laid up for the newspaper review segment this morning. We'll continue with the rest of the program.